Still with our guest, Sophie Ashaba Tumwesije, Rite TV Uganda Youth and Prominence Program. Sophie, you've done us well in the last 2 episodes, and I am sure you're going to bless us in this session. We're at campus. We've chosen Kaim. We are ushers at church. We've chosen we will not fail our mother. Daddy has gotten an accident. I took note of that, and he is probably affected. He is incapacitated in a way. But you have a journey. You're a second born, and there are 3 other siblings behind you. Sophie, Makerere, it's wrap up and where it throws you.
So it was a journey of faith, Makerere, just like I told you. Finally, I finished my 3rd year. But how did I finish actually in my 3rd year, I failed to get tuition. It came to day 3, day 4, and I had 4 days to do my exams, and I could not get the tuition. Remember the Christ that I had asked to walk with me in senior 5
at midnight. I can't forget that, Sophie.
I went to St. Francis Chapel, Makerere. I still remember I sat behind. I was not praying, but I was crying and complaining and telling God, if you do not come through for me, we are going to be ashamed together. And I told God that, actually I remember telling me, praying, it wasn't praying, I think, in my local language, and I remember telling him, Mukama, kunda abenta kozire exams zez, ntuza kwemuka hamwe, tinkuza kuichiriza kwemuka nyenka. So, there I was, my eyes were red, and as I was there, I actually cried myself to sleep in church, and Uncle Ben came. It was a very traumatizing time, because that was the time my mother had left home and did not notify me. And I was being called by the moneylenders that your mother has escaped with our money. We are looking for her. I was under pressure. I had my younger brother in senior 4. I had my younger brother who was in, my sister who had finished senior 6. I was here waiting to do my exams, my last paper. I had my sister who follows me and had got 22 points and was not given government sponsorship. So I was actually sharing a bed with her in the hostel. So it looked like my life was crumbling down. I had a burden to carry, a family that I did not bring on earth. I was like, God, this is too much. Everyone is calling me. So when I was there, Uncle Ben comes and I hear someone tapping me behind. It's like, Ashaba, what is the problem? I turned, I looked at him and I told him, Uncle Ben, I have 4 days to do exams and I don't have tuition. I was like, is it why your eyes are red? I was like, Uncle Ben, I want tuition. And he looked at me. I remember him instructing Chapman, give this young lady tuition. On Saturday, actually he jokingly told me, but you know you're my girlfriend, go and write a love letter to me. I was like, Uncle Ben, me, I want tuition. I just want to do my exams. So he's like, go and write a letter. So I went and wrote a letter requesting for tuition, and they gave me tuition. I went, I paid tuition. I sat my last exam, not with a permit, but with a pay slip that I had actually finished
because there
paying.
was no time to process a permit.
Exactly. I did my exams and finished. Good enough. I was a lady of faith, so I had to look for scholarships. It's like, okay, now where are we? Not scholarships, internship, because we are supposed to do internship and then we do our reports and we graduate.
But let's pause it there, Sophie. Some stories are very touching for anybody who listens to them. I want to appreciate Uncle Ben Mugarura, chaplain, former chaplain in St. Francis Chapel, for seeing the need, the genuine need of a Christian child who said no to a man who wanted to probably give her another means of getting school fees, but a dubious mean. And she says no. And later, God touches Uncle Benon Mugarura and he decides to use chapel funds to pay tuition fees for a young girl. Next time you're giving to a church, a chaplain of a university, you are supporting students you don't know. But I know that God will bless you.
Amen.
If you were going to give 100,000, but you can afford 1,000,000 shillings, put it there. And Uncle Ben, we pray a blessing into your life and upon your children's children. Sophie, we complete university and go to do internship.
Yeah, we complete university and I had 2 opportunities to do internship. One, I moved to Parliament and applied to do internship.
Meanwhile, Mommy is lost.
Mommy is lost. I'm still looking for her and they are calling me.
Disappeared
She disappeared
because of loans.
because of loans. Mommy is lost, so I'm looking for her. I moved to the Ministry of Water and Environment in Luzira, going to see the Honorable that time, Maria Mutagamba, because she was the minister then. I go to her secretary, I told her, I actually have an appointment with this woman, but I didn't have it. One thing I knew was that if she was from Rakai district.
Confidence about
Yes,
you.
So I was like, I have an appointment with her. Ask her, she should be expecting me. So I entered in. I was like, oh, young girl. I was like, Honorable, I'm here. I'm looking for a place. If you just write a letter for me anywhere, they will admit me. I did not know anyone. The things of where you know someone in an office. I did not know anyone, Sarah. I was on my own. So, as luck would have it, the Honorable Minister writes a letter. I take it to National Environment Management Authority, NEMA. I'm given a place of internship in NEMA. Remember, I had also asked for a place of internship in Parliament of Uganda. I go there. So, I was given both places. So I was like, okay, now what do I choose? Yeah, so I went to Parliament.
I love God.
Yeah, I went to Parliament and somehow because I also liked leadership things, politics, I was like, go to Parliament. I think Parliament is cool. You live NEMA. So I went to Parliament and I was doing research there. Yeah, I was a research assistant doing my internship there, and it was a very beautiful group of people that loved me, that trained me, that welcomed me. And they started giving me some little money. So I started saving that money. So when I was in Parliament, I had a friend of mine who was working in NEMA. And she calls me. Actually, I called her because I had got an opportunity from a stranger asking us if we can do what they call a project brief for a construction site. I called her, I was like, Korukundo, she was called Korukundo. I was like, Korukundo, you are in NEMA? Make sure that we have all these policies set aside. We have got work. We went, we signed a deal in IHK. We were given money. That was the largest amount of money.
You girls.
5 million that time to just do work in two weeks. We got that money. Each one got 2.5.
You were fair. That is fairness.
Yeah.
You know what people do when they get deals? One will take give her friend 1 million and keep her 4.
The 4.
You start off well. 50% we start.
We started, we did our project brief, we submitted it for review. Later it was approved and we were given our money. When I got that money, I went back to, first of all, I looked for my mother. From my auntie's place, I went and I saw where she was. Now she was in one of the most devastating states. But sometimes when I look back, I was like, okay, God.
It was already bad enough.
It was already bad enough.
Now she had gone lower.
Lower. I found my mother fetching water. I found my mother with a jerrycan of water and Sarah carrying it on her head. At her age. And she told me what she was doing. At some point I would walk. I would walk a distance of, I would get a taxi. She was that side in Mukono. So I would get a taxi and I would walk a distance of around 15 kilometers to go and see her. And one of the most devastating state I found her making.
That was remote.
Local, yeah.
That was remote, Sophie.
I found her making local brew, what they call kwete. Now, we grew up in a town, yes, it was bad, but you know there are some things you're like, okay, here we haven't
reached the level of
yeah,
kwete.
we haven't reached there. So I found her doing that. I got that money and I went to the Antonde. I asked her friends who were there. I remember one of them was a late mother to a friend of mine called Rebecca. She calls me and tells me whatever happened. I looked around. I told them to help me find out whoever she has her date, to come and see me. I went to Centenary Bank. I paid the debt. I went to the money loaners. I paid the debt with all their interest. I went to the people that had taken the chairs in the house. I paid that money. I went back home and I looked at an empty house.
But at least you redeemed your mother.
I came back home and I came back and phoned her and I told her I have paid all the debts. I gave her all the receipts and I told her I want you to go back home.
Sophie, may you never lack. May you never lack.
Excuse me.
Young people, what your parent is going through to keep you alive, to make sure you're in school. For that reason, make the right decisions at school. Sophie's story is very touching, but it is on Rite TV Youth and Prominence program to inspire you, to challenge you, to help you choose the right groups, and to be focused. When they got this contract, they were children. They could have bought clothes. They could have bought the latest phones. She chose to go home and redeem her mother. Sophie, what did mommy do when you told her that debt is no more?
She was shocked. She was surprised. But I think her greatest challenge was to go back to the shame. You know, there is that shame that is created. You tried to educate children, so you say.
You even pushed them to
yes.
the of all places.
So she first got scared because of the shame. But we encouraged her. Her friends called her. They would call her and tell her, please come back home. We are ready to receive you. You don't have any debts. So finally she goes back home. So when I was in that state, that's when I met Justus, who is my husband now. He actually met me when I was in a very sorry state. Marriage, relationship were the last things I had on my mind. And I remember when the first time he approached me and was suggesting that we go out and take some tea. I was actually going to Nakao and I asked him whether he actually didn't have a program. You find me and you tell me that we just go and have tea. Yeah, so I think I was going to Zira to check on a friend. I was like, no, you don't do that to me.
You don't even understand going to have tea.
Yeah.
You don't have programs. So confused that you even went to go for tea.
I know. So after some time, I think he again called me out and we went and we talked and he asked me out. He actually proposed marriage the first day. He told me, you know what, I want you to be my girlfriend, but no, I want to marry you. I was like, do you know the kind of person you want to marry? This is a girl that has been hurt left, right, center.
You know the baggage I have.
Hit. It's like, are you sure you are even asking for marriage? It's like, I have already been hurt. The reason I didn't have a boyfriend at campus is that I had gone through a lot. So I feared I didn't want my heart to be broken because of a boyfriend. I was trying to guard my heart. I had gone through enough
There was
pain.
enough on your plate.
Yeah. What I didn't tell is part of the money that I got, I went to my younger brother who was in Chitunga. He was in senior 4. I went to him and I told him. He was actually, I had gone to him and told him that to visit him at school. And I promised him that if he passed, I will be able to pay for him school fees to this. Because I had finished school.
The excitement with 2.5 million.
Guess what?
Sophie, you're too much.
Later, when the results were out, he got an admission to Ntare school. And he brought it. I was like, but now I used the money to pay debts. I don't know. Like, but you had promised, I wanted to be an engineer. I was like, we cannot.
Oh, Sophie.
I was like, we cannot manage Ntare school. Ntare is too big for us. We don't have the money. It's like, I will call the director and you go back. somehow we maneuvered through life like that. My sister also, the one who was in senior 6 vacation, gets 16, 17 points in PEM. She's given Bachelor of Arts, Sciences, majoring in Mathematics, Economics at Makerere University. But I remember her telling me that the God who helped you to go through school, I almost told her, you need to know the entire story. Yeah, but I thank God he has enabled her.
So was that girl given government?
No, she was on private. But one, she was working, so she's tried to save a little bit of some money. She was working in a supermarket. And I also remember giving her some, that money was too much. I remember giving her some money for tuition.
God multiplied that money. I don't understand that money. That money just got multiplied.
Yeah, so somehow she went through school also.
And the one who was supposed to go to Ontario, where did he go?
I had to call the director who admitted me then in
At
senior
Trinity.
5. Yes, I was
So
like,
he goes
no.
to Trinity.
Yes, but the good thing, her grades were good because she got distinction too throughout in all the subjects he did. So the director saw the results and was like, wow, this is good performance, come. So he went and did sciences there.
Students, when you get a chance to go out there to study, give it your best. A sister just came and motivated her young brother that if you pass, I'll pay your A-level fees. And the guy worked and got distinction too. It is possible. He was in Chitunga High School. Some of us have opportunities to be in much better schools and we're not putting in any effort. So just as has proposed, internship ended.
And
Sophie, you are amazing.
finally, after some time, I said yes. But I told him, I don't want to go in a relationship and then you break it and then you break my heart. I don't want. I want to be ready. This relationship has to lead to marriage. I pray so. And I prayed. I used to pray at campus for my future husband. Though inside me, I was like, I don't think I will get married. I have a lot of things to do. Marriage is the last thing. But they would tell us to pray for our future husbands. You know those prayers?
I know those were prayer meetings.
Yes. So we used to pray with a friend of mine who is now married in Kigali. There's a time we went to the prayer mountain, 31st. Can you imagine? To pray for husbands.
Some of us are really lazy.
I don't know what kind of madness was that at that time.
Sophie, Ashaba was the name. The one who prays. The one who prays takes you to prayer mountain to pray for your husband. So how do you make up your mind now? It's just us, you now. All other men out, I am settled.
Yeah, so after some time, I said yes to his proposal and we began a relationship. And we walked that journey of relationship. But I told myself that my background is polygamy. I don't intend.
I'm not settling for polygamy.
Yes. So that is what I went in my mind within a relationship. I'm not settling for polygamy, and I'm also not settling for what is less for me as a Christian girl. Because I have chosen to get out of where I have been, and I'm not turning back.
So the wedding happened after how long? 6 years?
No, we related for 2.5 years, and in 2009, 31st October, we got married.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Sophie has moved me. I know that her story will move you. Young people, prayer, the name, the prophetic names you have, and you have beautiful names, Birungi. Natkunda, Sinje. Let us call those prophetic names into our lives. Our parents didn't give them to us for nothing. The Lord will follow your story. And in 2009, October, Sophie and Justus Tumwesije tied a knot. We will still have our guest in another episode. We would like to appreciate Sophie for her vulnerability. Mommy, we know that you're in a good place. I hope Sophie mentions the level at which their mom is at now. Of course, it's been the effort of her children. And in the next episode, we'll hear that. Thank you so much, Youth and Prominence Program, Rite TV Uganda. Sophie, amazing.